Hi there. Thanks for tuning to Make This Happen, where we discuss an idea we've been dying to see come alive. Every week, my friend Alex Gonzalez and myself, J.E., will bring you a product you never knew you needed. Now, let me tell you about, I guess, bed/sleeping pods. I'm not a nap person. I don't really like taking naps. I don't even like sleeping very much, if I'll be honest. But every once in a while, when I do nap, I don't mind it because lately what's been happening when I nap, it's by accident, or I'm playing a game and because it's winter, I'm like in my cardigan or sweater, and then I also have a blanket on top of me, right? And I'm just playing a game and I fall asleep. And what happens is when I wake up, I'm like, damn it, I fell asleep. I'm playing Ace Attorney and I had autoplay on, so I now have to go back and see what I missed. Not just that, but I'm really warm right now and it feels really nice. And that's the best part of a night nap for me, is when like you wake up and you realize I'm just really warm and cozy and I feel really good right now. And I don't want to get out of this because it's cold. And I know as soon as I open up this blanket, it's not going to feel nice. And I kind of just want to stay here.
Makes you cranky almost that you have to go out into the world.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's essentially my goal with this product I'm going to bring you today. The goal is, do you remember, this is a Korean thing, so not very many people are going to know what I'm talking about, but do you remember, and we've mentioned this on the shows before, but back when I had the house in Moreno Valley when we were in college, I had this bed that heated up. And many people fell asleep on it because they were drunk, and the warm bed kind of made them fall asleep.
It's what I look upon fondly, because it gave me a lot, because I was a shitty person, and this is what I wanted to go into is, it was a sofa bed that heated up. It's like a big bench, so bigger than anyone's butt would sit.
Like jade or some kind of crystal or something.
It was very fancy. In fact, I haven't seen anything like it since. But the way it would heat up is you wouldn't put it at a 3 and it would stay at a 3. It would heat up like an oven until it reached like a terminal temperature. And so people would be drunk. They would feel its warmth, then fall asleep, and then eventually get cooked. And they would start cooking themselves. And then every single time they would have the same face of wonderment where they got a little sizzle on them. And it made me laugh, and it shouldn't have, but it was funny because they were drunk.
Yeah. My idea is make a whole pod, essentially this thing, right? Where you get in, and I want to say that it doesn't have a built-in blanket or anything. You bring your own blanket with you if you want one, but you don't need one in there if you don't want one, right? Like it's like a blanket is optional. But I would bring a blanket in there, and there's going to be settings on the wall of inside this pod where it'll heat up the entire pod, but then also the bed you're laying on has a different temperature to it too. So you can make that cool and then the outside hot, or you can make the outside cool and the bed hot. You know what I mean? To like, the reason I want that differing 2 different temperatures is because that's the best, where it's like, you're laying on a cold surface, but it's hot around you. That's a good feeling. But it's also a great feeling for it to be cold outside, but you being warm on the thing.
What I want to do is, the one thing I hate while sleeping is I hate sweating. I hate sweating in a bed. So I want the sleep pod to have a temperature monitoring system, so that if it sees that it's getting too hot for you, it's going to turn down the temperature and adjust settings so that the temperature in the pod maintains a normal temp. What I mean by that is somehow it's going to have a temperature for ambient temp and then a temperature for inside your sleeping setting.
And I also think you could set that on or off. Like maybe people do want to sweat. Maybe this ends up being like a sauna for some people. You know what I mean? Maybe we can make it so it is usable as a sauna if you want that to be its use type of thing.
Nasty.
It is nasty, but you have to clean it, of course.
Yeah.
I also like the idea of there having fans in it, not necessarily to cool you down, but to have moving air in there. Because some people might want that. I know I would, especially if I'm going to have it a little bit warmer. I would like to have some kind of moving air on me.
Could you? Yeah. And then you also want their air circulation, because could you imagine, like, when like, and this happens to anybody, without air fresheners or fresh air coming in your room, it starts to smell like you, but concentrated you, if you know what I mean. Like, for instance, if there's a bunch of dudes in a room, it'll smell like dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Smells to avoid. So we want it to constantly refresh air as well.
Right.
And then I had another good idea, but I think I lost it. Oh, ambient sounds.
You could put a Bluetooth speaker in there and then it have presets as well. Like you could have like you could
rain,
put your own thing, or you
but
could
like
make
tapping
it,
too, where like it feels like the rain's tapping on the pod.
Oh, that'd be cool. We'll have that. We'll also have, just general noises like white noise and also like nighttime sounds, forest sounds. We'll have like all of those sounds. But then if you want, you could just play your own music or a podcast or whatever you want.
What we should do? No, never mind. It would be playing to our audience too much. Just play generic office sounds. You know what I'm saying? Like the show The Office, so you could fall asleep to that.
Yeah. What if we also had a fucking OLED screen in the fucking top?
That'd be great.
And you could just screencast, you know what I mean? Like Applecast stuff to it, like just mirror your iPhone type of thing, or send Netflix over there. And since it has speakers, it would be like a theater almost, like a self theater. This is becoming more than just a weird heating sleeping bed.
It's like we should probably get away from like too much entertainment, but definitely like temperature regulation, like ambient white noise sounds. Maybe like you said, you like a speaker so you can play your own music.
Yeah.
For a screen, I don't know if that's like the focus. Like if you
want to have that's you could add it if you'd like. Maybe that's like a optional addition.
Definitely lights too. You could have like a nice mood lighting in there as well.
Oh, I was thinking, you could change lights to be green, blue, white light, yellow light, whatever you want. Brightness, like lumens, you could choose all that. But space wise, I was thinking in my first theory, it was going to be very futuristic and kind of like to your shape and build kind of thing. Not like skin tight or anything, but it's like you won't have too much room. But now that I think about it, maybe you'll have a decent amount of room. Like it's going to be spacious. Like it's going to be overly big. Even if you're a large person, you're going to be able to move pretty well in it. Of course, we're going to have different sizes, but the standard size, even for someone that's bigger, it's going to be like the couch was, you know what I mean? Imagine that sofa enclosed. And it's going to be huge. It's like coffin sized almost, but it's going to be very comfortable. It's going to be ugly too. I don't know how this is going to look good at all from outside. We can make it look as sleek and cool as possible, but it's still going to look creepy as fuck and just ugly. It's just going to be this huge tanning bed looking thing,
Well, what I imagine it to be is looking like a pod, and then the marketing is just going to have to be like where you can have your own time, your own space, where it's the one place in the world that nobody can disturb you.
Yeah. Maybe what we could eventually start doing is like part of the installation that's free with purchase, because this is also going to be enormously expensive, is like we can make it look like, instead of it looking like just a thing on the side of your place, we can maybe put up some drywall and like make it look like it's integrated, and it's just like you open a door and you just jump into the pod, and like we just make it look like a weird walled off section with like a door, so it looks like a closet, but when you open it up, it's just the bed, and maybe like
I see,
maybe just a small room for the bed or something. I don't know how it would look. But maybe part of the installation process, we look at your place and then we're like, this is probably the best place. And then they could choose to have the free, make it its own room, or just install it right there and open, so you don't have to even worry about it.
Yeah, I like that. That way we don't have to worry about the shape of the pod or turning people off or trying it to be too futuristic.
Yeah. But it still has to look sleek for people who want it out in the open, you know?
And for me, this would be something like, let's say I wanted to do a solo trip to New York and I could pay for this pod and it'd be a little less expensive, but I could sleep well and not have to worry about paying for an Airbnb or anything else. And mostly I'm just using this for sleep and sleep only. And then I go back out there and it's going to be nice and clean and I don't have to worry about checking in or dealing with anybody.
So you're saying like a sleep pod hotel is going to be established after this? I feel like we've done sleep pod hotels actually, now that I'm saying that out loud.
It feels very Japanese in that sense. You know what I'm talking about? Where it's open. It's probably going to be open all day, every day. And people are going to use it for their own things, where some people are going to have a rate of just napping. Some people are going to have our subscription service where you can pay like a certain price and use it all day, every day. Like, I know for me, like there's oftentimes I don't eat on my lunch. And if I were like in the middle of a city commuting, I'm like, I'm going to get my fucking 20 minutes in and then go do something else, or sleep for 20 minutes and then play Switch by myself in a place where I don't have to deal with this fucking city or deal with anybody.
Yeah. It'd be cool if there was like in the future, if this product were ever to launch, maybe we could like lease, you know how like Tesla has like showrooms? Yeah. We'll have like the pod room and you just come in, you show your monthly subscription or whatever, scan it, you enter in, and then you just open a pod up, you lay down, you close it, and you just have like maybe the subscription every month. You get like free 4 hours in the pod, and it's just like counting down in there.
And that's what I'm saying, because especially if it's like enhanced mattresses, sheets, pillows, you know, it's going to be better than the sleep you get at home, because you're not going to have that kind of luxury material.
And we'll put it suited to you in business districts. Like all business districts will like open up one of these. You know what I mean?
Yeah, business districts and on college campuses. Honestly.
Oh yeah, like we'll have deals with schools. We'll have deals with.
As a commuter, could you imagine during finals week where you're like, I don't fucking go home, but I also am studying all night and I need to study with these people, like the students who live here. So instead, I'll rent out a pod for 6 hours until they're available again. Or the library doesn't have any study rooms available because people are fucking sleeping in them. So I'm going to go sleep in a pod.
Exactly. And sure, there's going to be times that there's no vacancy, but you know, we'll make it somewhat of a luxurious price.
What if
it's
subscribers can reserve pods ahead of time?
I think that's how it's going to work. But even still, I think it's going to be pretty crowded unless we were able to establish a lot of pods. Like at campuses, I think they're going to be always taken. You know, it's not going to be easy to get a pod. But at like in the business center, when we have our own building, maybe it'll be a little bit easier because not everyone's going to use it. And not just that, but it's going to be a bigger facility, maybe multi-floored, and all that good stuff. All right. Well, Tesla, make this happen. I feel like Tesla is like the cheat that we could use for everything. Kind of like how in video games and We Are Not Game Devs, we could just use Kojima Productions for everything. It's like our catch-all.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Tesla or
the
Apple.
Eccentric guy who's willing to think out of the box.
And just do random shit because he wants to. Tesla, make this happen. Thanks for listening. If you have any suggestions or products you'd like to see talked about, feel free to write in at @poundgames@gmail.com. We have a Patreon. If you'd like to join the @Pound family, come find us at patreon.com/wearenotgamedevs. Patrons receive episodes 2 days early, meaning Make This Happen gets to your ears that much sooner. If you enjoyed our show, take a second to give us a review. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play Store, and more. Catch you guys next Sunday with Alex's idea.
Water bottles.
Water bottles. Another liquid-containing item.
I don't know. Okay, you know what? Let's do socks.
Socks instead. Let's do it. Alex is doing something with clothes. Let's see where he comes up.
Wait, that's you. Okay, let's see. You do the things with the clothes. What can I do?
You've done clothes before, I thought. You did athletics wear one time.
Yeah, let's do dog leashes.
Dog leashes, something we all need. At least those with dogs. I guess people without dogs could use them too. But that's for something else. Yeah.
Maybe I revealed too much already. Tune in next week. No, I'm kidding. That's not where I was going. I was thinking about dogs. Or was I? Tune in.